Bennington to the southwest, Watford to the east, Shaftesbury and Somerset to the north, and in between, the Bennington Triangle. Don't get me wrong, this area isn't an official designated triangle. The term was coined in 1992 by author Joseph A. Straw. The region mostly centers around Glastenbury Mountain and typically refers to an area historically covered in dense forests, sparsely populated even today. Hello friends, as you may have guessed from the title and our introduction, today we are diving into mysterious events of the Bennington Triangle. Although this enigmatic region gained popularity between 1945 and 1950, the strange happenings here actually date back to the 80s. Welcome to our video, where we examine the terrifying and baffling events in full detail. Founded in 1761, the town of Glastenbury developed slowly despite harsh geographical conditions. By 1810, its population reached 76, and by 1880, 241 people, but heavy logging followed by the railroad damage and flood disasters led to a dramatic population loss from the 1890s onward. In 1937, the town's official status was legally dissolved. However, the Abenaki people, Native American tribes indigenous to Vermont and surrounding New England areas, as well as Quebec, Canada, have existed here long before that. Glastenbury Mountain and the surrounding Vermont forests are considered both sacred and sometimes dangerous in their folklore. The Abenaki are part of the Abenaki Confederacy, people of the town, and speak Algonquian languages. Nature is central to their beliefs. Mountains, rivers, and forests are sacred. They believe all natural entities, rocks, trees, animals have souls, and some places are considered spiritual gateways. In their stories, Glastenbury Mountain is a sacred place to be approached with caution. One legend says, when you step on the mountain summit, it might pull you into the earth. Some stones are alive, swallowing stones. The myth of swallowing rocks that devour you when touched provides a folkloric origin to the paranormal theories surrounding Bennington Triangle. The idea of a monster living in the region began with the White Man legend of 1867, predating the paranormal reputation of the area. In 1867, a strange, prostitute man known as White Man was said to roam to forests near Glastenbury. He had emerged to expose himself to women and wave firearms around. He was chased away by the townspeople. The story laid the foundation for the legend of the Bennington Monster. The idea later evolved into the belief that evil-hearted people who come to the region turn into wild men, cursed beings. A real incident gave to the legend a darker tone. On April 4, 1892, a mill worker named Henry McDowell murdered John Crowley. Though placed in a mental asylum in Waterbury, he escaped and vanished. Some say he returned to Glastenbury and merged into the White Man legend. In 1897, another grim event occurred. A 40-year-old named John Harbour was found dead while on a hunting trip in Woodford. His body was under a cedar tree. His gun carefully laid beside him. The body had clearly been moved, suggesting human involvement, but no suspects or evidence were ever found. This mystery fed to the growing folklore. Environmental isolation, sinkholes, and unpredictable weather are often cited as natural explanations for these disappearances. Geological dispersions near fault lines can pose serious risks to people, but this area is not seismically active. Bennington is a rich ancient granite, schist, and marble deposits. In some places, the ground is cracked and unstable. And it gets more intriguing. Karst formations, such as underground caves, the tunnels are known to exist in the area. So, what's in those caves? The logical answer would be predators, but if I told you no signs of animal attacks were ever found in any of these cases? Let's explore the strangest disappearance in Bennington Triangle. November 12, 1945. 74-year-old Middie Rivers, a seasoned guide and hunter, was leading a group near Glastenbury Mountain around Hello on the Long Trail, a place he knew like the back of his hand. For some unknown reason, he moved ahead of the group and never returned. Over 300 volunteers, including soldiers, searched the area. All they found was a single rifle cartridge near a stream bed. It might have fallen from his pocket. No other trace was found. This tragedy led to a more significant case, the only one involving the FBI, and even triggered to the creation of Vermont State Police, the disappearance of 18-year-old Paula Welden. Welden's case, along with the closely timed disappearances around it, marked the beginning of what many believe as a true pattern. Paula was a freshman at Bennington College, a private school. She loved hiking and nature. She was quiet, introverted, but academically successful. Her family lived in Connecticut. On Sunday, December 1st, 1946, she told a friend she'd go for a walk along the Long Trail. She wore a red coat, hiking pants, and boots. She brought no gear, just a short walk, she thought. A local farmer gave her a ride and recalled her asking, "Where does the Long Trail begin?" She got out Woodford Hollow and walked into the forest. Hikers later confirmed they saw a girl in the red coat walking behind them. But then she was gone. The hikers said they turned around and she had vanished. Why would she change course? And how could she disappear in just minutes? When she didn't return, campus police sounded the alarm. The next day, over 1,000 people, including state police and volunteers, searched the area. No blood, no belongings, no footprints. Even the US Army joined in. Dogs found no trace. Her body, coat, or personal items were never found. Some investigators suspected family conflict, but this didn't explain the total lack of evidence. A worker named Fred Gadet gave conflicting statements. He even reportedly said he knew where the body was buried, but later retracted, claiming he'd been angry that night. Another witness claimed to have seen a girl corpse which vanished before he reached it. That too was never verified. Disappearances didn't only happen in isolation. People vanished among others as well. James Tedford vanished in one of the strangest and most baffling cases. He was a 68-year-old World War II veteran living in Bennington Soldiers' Home. On December 1st, 1946, exactly 3 days after Paula, he boarded a bus in St. Albans to return to Bennington. When the bus arrived, James was gone. His luggage was in the baggage compartment. His ticket stub was still on his seat. Passengers confirmed he was still on the bus at the previous stop, but no one saw him get off. He vanished while sitting on the bus. His case became known as the man who vanished without getting off the bus, and it remains one of Vermont's most chilling urban legends. None of the missing people were ever found except one. October 28, 1950, Frieda Langer and her cousin Herbert Asner went hiking. Both knew the area well, were good in health and physically active. Frieda slipped into the stream and got wet. She told Herbert she'd return to the campsite just a few hundred meters away to change, and she'd never come back. Despite intensive search efforts involving dogs and the military, nothing was found. 7 months later, on May 12, 1951, her body was found in an open area near Somerset Reservoir, a place that had already been searched multiple times. The body was severely decomposed, and its location was too high to have moved by water. There were no signs of animal attack or traumatic injury. If she died naturally, why wasn't the body discovered during earlier searches? And the body was in such orderly position that wildlife disturbance seems unlikely. Frieda case is the most documented, but even then no conclusions were reached. While the media sometimes sensationalizes the Bennington Triangle, it has surprisingly little presence in pop culture. It's strange given how many eerie events occurred here. Joseph A. Citro, who coined the term and incorporated it into his works, is largely responsible for keeping the story alive. Without him, we might have forgotten all about Bennington mysteries. That's why I recommended reading his novel Shadow Child, a fictional story inspired by these real events. In the 2019 documentary film Missing 411 The Haunted, directed by Michael de Grazier, similar cases of elderly men vanishing in the nature are explored. Though it doesn't mention Bennington directly, the parallels are striking. Researcher David Paulides, a former police officer, provides expert insight. He also authored the Missing 411 book series. The Bennington Triangle, buried in Vermont's misty forest, is more than a geographic location. It reflects humanity's deep fear, fascination, and reverence for the unknown. The disappearances of 1940s and 50s have become more than police files. They've become myths, tragedies embedded in collective memory. Paula Welden, James Tedford, Frieda Langer, each vanished under inexplicable circumstances. Some left no trace, others returned but broken. These stories aren't just mysteries or gossip. They are the legacies of real people who left behind years of sorrow, unanswered questions, and the grieving families. To examine these cases is to question not just what happened, but what it means to be human. Why do some people vanish without a trace? Why does nature sometimes seem to swallow us whole? Science has tried to explain magnetic anomalies, harsh terrain, wild animals, mental trauma. Maybe some of stories fit those explanations, but others linger, waiting silently in void. Some disappearances seem to hide in the more geology or miscovered hills. It's as if nature sometimes chooses to keep its secrets. The story of the Bennington Triangle isn't unique. The Michigan Triangle, Bermuda tropical waters, the Alaska Triangle, Romania's Hodgepodge forests, they all share tales of sudden vanishings, electronic malfunctions, eerie silences. Maybe the common thread isn't geography, but the fragile bond between humans and nature. And perhaps the most important truth is this: every disappearance doesn't just end of one life, it shatters the lives of those left behind. So, no matter how many theories we offer, no matter how many explanations we try, our guiding principle should be empathy and respect. Because the missing weren't just statics, they once dreamed, loved, and hoped. Some places are marked on maps, others exist without ever needing one. The Bennington Triangle may have no physical border, but with every lost soul, it crosses a much greater one, the eerie line between the known and the unknown. If you would like to us cover more stories like this, be sure to let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, hype, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.